So there's a very popular clip that's been floating around online, and it is Marvin Sapp, who I initially thought was Bob Sapp and Warren Sapp, because those are the two Sapps that I know of. I didn't know anything about this guy, but like apparently Marvin Sapp is a gospel singer who became a reverend, who now has a megachurch, and apparently the megachurch is not doing that well if Homeboy is out here just like blocking his congregation from leaving unless they pay him money. I can't stress enough specifically. I don't like talking about religion that much. I don't like talking about like religion or Jesus or God or anything like that, because of the fact that like when you start talking about religion, it attracts like the wrong people, because a lot of people like to pop up and just be like, actually you're wrong and you're the one who's misinterpreting what he's saying. It's like it's easy to get into arguments, because the initial thing about religion from the beginning, the very core thing about religion has always been treat others how you want to be treated. That's like the universal rule, and like not just in religion, but just in life in general, right? And as time went by, people just started like misinterpreting that and started misconstruing that and trying to find ways to sort of profit off of it and use that to control others and things like that. And it became less about treating others how you want to be treated and more like, what do they mean by treat? What do they mean by others? What do they mean by like? What do they mean by you? You know what I'm saying? And it ultimately becomes this humongous thing, and this humongous thing that doesn't make any sense. And now you got people who are literally trying to profit off of the confusion. Pastor Sapp being one of them. Now, the thing that's really kind of annoying me the most about this stuff is the fact that this is common. Like he did something that's kind of normal. I'm not saying that it's normal for people to barricade people into giving them money unless they holding people hostage for money, but it is kind of like par for the course for churches to try to find the most bizarre, if not controversial, ways to try to get money about their congregation. It's not like out of the line. It's not out of line. Like, I say this as somebody who has actually been like I said, I'm black and I'm Southern. Like, I'm pretty sure that you already know that I've at least been to more than my fair share of churches. But like, there's a culture in church where it's like, you're taught that if you put more money into the church, you're somehow more important in the church or something like that. It's a lot of stuff that goes into church culture that a lot of people just don't know, and it's very, very, very easily manipulated into believing into something that's like good. Like, it's like, for example, like if you're in proximity with the pastor, you're an important person. You know what I'm saying? Because the pastor is basically like the president of the joint. But that's neither here nor there. My issue with religion in general is that like this is par for the course. It's people just sort of like trying to find ways to profit off of something that's supposed to be helping people. For those who don't know, a lot of people get into religion not because they're super into Jesus Christ, or because they're they're trying to like find a new path in life. They're literally there because they're lost, or they feel abandoned, or they feel like they got demons that they're fighting. And what better way to fight demons than in a place that literally advertises that they do that sort of thing? You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of crazy to me because of the fact that it's like the people who promote this the hardest, the people who promote themselves as the biggest demon fighters the hardest, are people who are just charlatans and just using their chance to just sort of like take advantage of innocent people, and they're trying to do that to profit. Like, this is why Jesus Christ flipped tables, bro. Like, it's kind of the sheer irony that you're preaching the word of a God who would probably like be like, dude, you're doing this wrong. But my issue has always sort of been with that. And one of the big reasons why I actually steered away from the church is because of that. Like, I didn't like the idea of people being taken advantage of because the Bible said blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really easy for anybody to tell you that the Bible says something that it probably didn't say, or probably got misconstrued into something else. Like, for example, be fruitful and multiply. If you actually read the Bible, that wasn't meant for people. That wasn't meant for the entire community, for like the entire human race. God said that to Noah after the great flood. You see what I'm saying? God said that to Noah after the great flood. Be fruitful and multiply. God didn't say everybody needs to do it. but you see kind of like how that got misconstrued into, what it was and things like that. And people have a habit of doing that with everything when it comes to like religion and stuff like that. And people have a habit of trying to find ways to say, well, the Bible says for you to give me money and hate black people. And people be like, really? And it stresses me out. So that's kind of the big reason why I got out of like one of the few many reasons why I got out of the church and stuff like that. It's just like that shouldn't be what religion is. That shouldn't be what going to church is. That shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be a pastor or somebody trying to control the people that are in the church. You should be trying to enlighten people and trying to help people, not trying to, like get money from them when they're literally begging you for assistance with like issues that they are facing on a regular basis that is going to probably end their life if not taken care of properly. It's definitely a hurtful thing to think about though, especially because of the fact that it's like going as a pastor, that's like the most disgusting thing that you can do. And I need y'all to understand specifically that he's probably not the only person who's done something like this. Like, as a society right now, we need to start paying attention. First off, we got to start learning about cults. We got to learn what cults are and how do we know that if we're in one, and like what to actually do in, like, we need to start raising awareness about this. This should be the thing that should wake up a lot of people about how crazy the church can be, or how ridiculous the church can get, or how ridiculous people can be about weaponizing the church to benefit themselves. And this should have been the thing, like this, it shouldn't have gotten that far. Let's not ever forget that there was a pastor who basically begged for money to buy a jet and then ended up buying the jet. Can we just talk about the fact that there are pastors out here who have jets? To put this in perspective, there are people who have to walk to church and to listen to pastors who have access to private jets. If that doesn't stress you out, I'm sorry. I don't like getting loud. And I don't like, because of the fact that it's like I don't like the idea. Like, you pay for that jet. But in any case, though, like I said, Marvin Sapp doing what he did, it definitely, like, this should be the thing that should just make you start questioning like just church in general, because like some of the most passionately devoted people that you probably will ever meet probably don't even step foot in a church. Meanwhile, some of the most slimiest snakes and some of the most cruelest people that you probably might have ever heard of probably lead those churches. Learn about cults, y'all. Love and peace. But also, love, peace, and at this point, also knowledge. Learn these things, people. Don't get scammed out here.